Hello and welcome to episode 58 of KnitScents. My name is Jan and you can find me as Jan Ellen RN on Ravelry and on Instagram. You can also find me as KnitScents on Instagram, trying to sort of keep the KnitScents stuff on the KnitScents account, if that makes any sense. Where else? And you can also find me as Jan Ellen RN on Fragrantica, and I will go into what Fragrantica is when I get to the scents part of the KnitScents, but I haven't figured out how to find people yet, but that's who I am over there. So if you can find me, you can take a look at my profile and message me from there. So let's see, today is Wednesday. It is the 21st, I believe, of August. And this is the third time that I am sitting down to record this episode. And I was this close to giving up. And if I have any more equipment failures, this just may well have to sit until tomorrow. Because we're already at 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock at night. I started this, I think, somewhere around 4:30. So first, I couldn't figure out, I had 3 attempts at it, and the monitor kept shutting off. Never occurred to me that the battery went dead. Just didn't even occur to me. So I assumed the camera battery went dead, which was ridiculous because I kept putting the new battery in. Camera was working fine. Long story short, here we are, several hours later, trying this again. But I have to say, I'm a little bit worse for wear because in between, we had a huge thunderstorm roll through here. My animals did not take kindly to it. And I tried out a new recipe for a zucchini vegetable soup. And I have it on authority that it turned out pretty good. So I cooked and I cleaned, and now I've got like onion eyes because like my eyes were burning from frying the onions and garlic and all that good stuff. So now that we've wasted, I can't even tell how much time because this doesn't tell me. Let's talk about what's in this episode. This episode will have, and I'm looking down because here's my notes. I chicken scrolled a handful of things on a piece of paper. I don't write notes. And the reason I'm putting this here is to remind myself what I have to link below. That's why I put the notebook here. Anyway, we will have some knitting. We will have some spinning. I have 2 finished objects. 2 finished objects. The ends aren't, I don't even know if they're woven in. I think they're woven in, but I haven't trimmed them yet. But they're both blocked. So I have 2 finished objects. I have a little bit of stash enhancement, which has to go with some secret knitting. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we'll talk about the contest that we have going on the Ravelry forum, which I forgot to mention. We do have a KnitScents podcast forum on Ravelry. And we have what is a whip along going on right now. So you have until the 31st of August to post a picture of a whip that you're working on. That's basically that. You have to be a member of the group, of the forum, the KnitScents podcast group, and post a picture of a whip that you're working on. And on the 31st, I will be drawing for a jar of the Shepherdess salve that I picked up on my trip to the farm. And if you didn't get to see that video, I will have a card put up one of these places. I have to figure out which corner it goes in, but I will put a card and a link below to that video if you want to take a look at that when we took a trip to the farm. And then at the end of September, I will draw for a finished, I will open on September 1st a thread for all of those finished objects. So if you post a picture of your finished objects in that finished object thread, I will post a drawing for, I did show the prize in one of the previous episodes, but it's a skein of Tabitha's yarn, also from the Long Island Yarn and Farm, and a pattern that goes along with it. So having said all of that, let's pop into the knitting. So first I'm going to show you what got a little bit of love. I picked up, now I did review squeaky chair noise. Here we go again. I got two scared dogs here who, I know that just freaked him out. He's so scared of thunder. So he's like hovering over here and that chair noise just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cole. Come here, baby. Come here. You never get to make an appearance. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, Cole. Come here. Come here. You never get to say hello. That's my little shorty, Colby. Oh, say hello, Colby. I know you're jealous, but you're always making an appearance, Emma. This guy is so terrified of thunder that he's literally shaking. He's literally sitting here shaking, and the thundering stopped about an hour ago. So, good boy. Yes, oh yes, you're a good boy. Okay, all right, go play with your sister. There you go. All right. So, I don't remember, I think it was in the last episode I put up, was a review of the 9-inch Chiaogoo needles. And again, I will put a card up in the corner, whichever corner, and a link to that video below. But I did pick up, and I think I had shown this sweater in that video. I had left this off at the sleeves. And considering all that was left on this sweater, this is the Sipila sweater. I believe it's Caitlin Hunter. Don't quote me. Of course, I did not write it down. But the entire body of the sweater has been done for well over a year. And it's literally just been waiting for me to pick up and knit the sleeves. And I actually am up to, I didn't realize, I thought there was only color work to be done on the long sleeve. I didn't realize there's actually color work on the short sleeve as well. So I kind of just got up to the part where the color work starts and left it. But I did fix, or at least I think I fixed, the holes underneath. I don't think I see any holes. So I'm kind of happy about that. So I really at some point just kind of have to put down my knitting and pick these up and just finish off the two sleeves. It's really just like an inch of color work. That's all that's left on these, and get this sweater into the FO pile and out of the WIP pile. So that did get a little love, mostly because I was playing with the needles. That was really the only reason why I was messing with the needles. True. So, because I finished the sweater that I had been working on, which I will show you, I did cast on my Tegna. And I know I had shown the yarn, but I couldn't wait to cast it on. Gosh, I'm telling you, don't ever bring your knitting in the kitchen when you have a bunch of sloths eating in here. It's a mess. Everything's a mess. Anyway, so I did cast on my Tegna. I didn't get too far, but I'm really enjoying knitting this. It's knit from the bottom up, and let me think. Hold on, I actually have the pattern here. So yeah, this is Boil and Knitwork. So this is also Caitlin Hunter. And let me see if I have a picture on here. I'm sure you've probably all pretty much seen this already. Let's see if I can, here we go. I've seen this on so many people, and it is just one of those sweaters that's just stunning in every color I've seen it in, on every body that I've seen it on. It's really, really beautiful sweater. So basically, once you get past the lace chart, and it's not a difficult lace. This is definitely an easy, repeatable lace pattern. It's not hard at all. I think I'm almost done with the first repeat of the lace, and then basically you're just working in the round and putting in sleeves. So here's what I have so far. I am doing this on, I believe I purchased fixed size 3 Lica needles, because I don't think the interchangeables go down to a size 3. So I think when I was, no they don't, they're fixed. So I think I bought these when I was down in Nashville. And that's how far I've gotten so far. And I absolutely just love this yarn. It is so awesome to work with. I am so happy I got this. I know I had mentioned this when I spoke about yarn that I purchased at SSK, and that's where I bought this. This is from Teeny Button Studios. It's hand-dyed in New Orleans. It's on their breezy fingering base, which is 50% merino and 50% cotton. And I thought that was just the perfect sweater blend for literally around here 3 months out of the year for me. Maybe not for everybody, but I can get away with it. Fall, spring, summer, maybe not in the dead of winter, although I probably would because I'm very rarely cold. I would just probably put on a heavier coat. But at any rate, this is their Owlery colorway. Let's see if I can get that to focus up there. Which way am I going? There we go. I'll get the hang of this. There we go. Okay, and again, that is Teeny Button Studios. Okay, so I think I took 3 skeins for this, and I'm not alternating skeins. I didn't touch, and I'm making the 3rd size, so I believe a medium. But this sweater is supposed to be worn with a significant amount of ease. So if I read this all correctly and followed everything right, this should fit with a certain amount of ease. I did not want it fitted across the bust at all. I don't want it huge, but I definitely wanted ease in it. So I'm really happy with the way that's going. It's actually, for a lace bottom sweater, it's actually very relaxing. She did suggest, and I did take her up on the suggestion, putting markers every 20 rows, 20 rows, every 20 stitches to make sure that you're on track. And I really, in almost any lace pattern that's more than, you know, just a yarn over knit 2 together type of thing, I really would recommend that, because if you have a mistake, it makes it so much easier, A, to find the mistake. I'm holding this whole thing backwards, to find the mistake and then to fix the mistake. So, and then you can count, you know, just as you go along, make sure you have the same number of stitches, and makes it easier to completely avoid the mistake. So that's what I've been working on. I've absolutely been enjoying working on it, but I have been sidetracked by starting another sweater, which I am test knitting. Now, so I am allowed to talk about it. Can't show any finished objects, which I'm nowhere near yet anyway, but it is a test knit for a sweater for Laura Nelkin. So I'm gonna say that. I will show what I have so far. I was told I could show. The only thing I can't do is show it finished, and I'm not anywhere near finished. So I'm gonna actually show the yarn that I got for it. Oops, now it's all gone. Everything's flying out the back of the bit, like I said. Nobody heard a bang, right? Because there wasn't anything in here to bang. I can't even imagine what that was. Okay, the pattern calls for an Aran weight wool, and Laura used Jill Draper Make Stuff. Empire is the yarn. This says Mini Empire only because she puts Empire up in a very large skein for literally, I guess, a sweater's quantity. It's over 1,200, I think it's 1,275 yards, but don't quote me. She puts it up in that, and then she puts up what she calls Mini Empire, which is your basic 4-ounce, 113 gram skein. So to me, that's not a mini skein. You know, when you think mini skein, you think little mini skein. but it's mini in comparison to the large size put up that she does for this. Did that make any sense whatsoever? I just confused everybody. Anyway, it's Jill Draper Makes Stuff. It is her Empire base. And I really went out of my box. I'm going to try to lower the sound on this because I don't know why. Everything is just going off. It's like the more I try to keep things quiet, the noisier it gets around here. Okay. This is in the colorway Persimmon. So let me get a good shot of that. Where's the name of the color? Okay. Don't put my hand over me. There we go. I went totally outside of my box, and when I see how this color is knitting up, I am like obsessed. I am loving this color. For those of you that aren't familiar with Jill Draper yarns, and I have used her yarns several times, I actually have some put aside for projects that I plan to make. Her yarns are very breed specific. She chooses to use American grown sheep, American sheared sheep, and milled. And so each of her yarns, depending on what fiber it is, what particular sheep breed it's from, feels a little bit different. But I can see as it's knitting up why this is the perfect yarn for the pattern that I'm test knitting. So having said all that, I'm really, really loving this color. I happened to throw the foreskeins I didn't wind yet into the bag that I have from another thing of Jill's yarn that I'm using for polka. This is a DK weight, and just to show you again, she uses all different very breed specific wool, and this happens to be 100% Targhee, whereas this one I think I said was Rambouillet. And they knit up differently. The yarns from it, you know, when you have different sheep, obviously they all have different fleece, different types of fleece. A lot of times, even some merinos one merino can be different from another merino. But it's a lot of fun, and it really makes you think about the yarn that you're using and how it's going to perform. And I may actually do an episode about that, a little bit about different yarns, using different yarns, why you would use a certain yarn as opposed to certain garments or certain items that you probably would be better off choosing a different kind of yarn. But it's very interesting to try Jill's yarns because, again, like I said, they are breed specific, and it's very interesting to see how they perform differently just because of the difference in the breed of the sheep. So having said all of that, let's get to the knitting. One thing I do have to show you, I had a bunch of pins. I think I went through them, some of them at some point during an episode, but they look so much better when they're on a bag. So this is my SSK bag, and I decided it needed to be decorated. So I put a whole bunch of my pins on my bag. So I just thought I would show that. My daughter got me, this is just so cute. I have to show this. I don't know if I can do it from behind here, but where am I going? Here we go. This teeny tiny little Snoopy, which I thought was absolutely adorable. So we got that. And this one was from Rebecca Danger. I didn't even know that she made pins. And I just thought it's a swan with, I think, an otter on it. I'm not sure. But it had like a glittery swan, and I see glitter and enamel, and I'm like, I don't care what's on it. I'm getting it. So anyway, all right, enough about the bag. Let's show what we're working on. So I can show you what I have so far. And I'm going to take it out and show you that basically what I have is part of a sleeve. And here we go. Now tell me that that color is just not unbelievable. You know, and that's Can I do anything without knocking something over, making noise? You should see me making this soup. I don't even want to go into that. That was a whole nother. It's all cleaned up now. But this, I think when this is finished, is gonna look so amazing in this color. This is the other side. And in case you haven't guessed yet, and I'm gonna just make sure that my stitches don't come off the needles because things have been going pretty smooth and I don't want to have a problem. It is part of a sleeve with an attached mitt. How cute is that? I have always wanted to knit a sweater with a thumb hole in it. I'm sure almost anybody else could figure out how to add it on. If I don't have it written on a pattern, I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I can't. Maybe after having done it on this one, I might be able to figure it out. So this was, I guess, a good learning experience. So this is where I'm at right now. I think, halfway through with my sleeve increases. And then I will knit up to the underarm, cast on and do the other stitch, and then move along to the body, which is knit flat. This yarn is an absolute joy to work with. I hope you can see the stitch. Let's see, make sure I'm showing it right. Now again, I did notice, here, I'll put it in front of me, maybe that'll focus well. It's a really easy, fun, memorizable stitch. I'm looking at the monitor I'm looking at, and this is showing up on this monitor as like an orangey color. In fact, it's actually a golden, like I would call it goldenrod. So, but I have noticed when I said that before in other episodes, when I've gone to look, when it's all edited, you know, on a regular computer as opposed to just this monitor, it does look more like the color. So just know this is, from what I'm seeing, this is coming off as orange, but it's actually really more of a true kind of goldenrod color. So that's been really what I have been working on knitting wise. This is obviously taking front and center because I do have a deadline on this. So I've been putting most of my knitting time toward that. As much as I would love to finish my Tegna, I would love to wear this to Rhinebeck. So yeah, so I've kind of been budgeting my time to get that done in time for Rhinebeck. So that is all I have for knitting. For spinning, I have not brought down the other bobbin that I finished, but I did show it in a previous episode. I think in the last episode, I showed the full bobbin that I spun. I took a braid, I believe this is Butterfly Effect. I know it was from the Luxe Club from Into the World 2014. I think the colorway was called Butterfly Effect. And I decided to fractal spin it. So I split my braid in half. Half I spun end to end, and I'm pretty sure I showed that already. And this is what I have from the second bobbin, which I'm spinning the two halves that I split it into, end to end, then end to end, and the same end to the front to back, and then using the same end as the front to back. Hope that makes sense. So that's where I'm at. Again, this is my singles. Okay, clearly that was backwards. There we go. And I'm thinking this may end up coming out more of a sport weight, maybe a DK. We'll have to see, and I'm not sure how much this is going to fluff up. I don't have the bag this time in front of me. If I remember correctly, this was merino cashmere nylon, I think. So I don't expect it to floof up too much, but with the cashmere, and it was only 10%, so I don't really expect too much bloom from it, but we shall see. I have been spinning this on the Daedalus Starling, and I have to say, the more I spin on that wheel, the more I love that wheel. I'm really, really enjoying it. Somebody had asked me about the knob, the tension knob being loose. And I haven't actually reached out to the company, mostly because I haven't really found it to be a problem. I use such light take up on that machine, and pretty much when I sit down at any wheel, even my regular, castle wheels or whatever, traditional wheels, when I sit down to spin at it, I am going to check my tension no matter what. And the control over the speed when you sit down at a traditional wheel obviously is the whirl that you choose. Well, I shouldn't say obvious. It's the whirl that you choose that determines how fast your flyer goes. And it also has to do with how you're treadling. So the upshot being that if I haven't been at a wheel in a while, it's like when you pick up a thing that you haven't been worked on, your gauge may have changed. So what I found with this wheel is I really don't mind pulling back and checking against my sample each time I sit down at the wheel or each time I spin at the wheel. I can't even say sit down at the wheel because I have been having that wheel in my lap. I've been sitting on the couch with my feet up with that wheel. I've been spinning in bed with that wheel. I mean, that wheel just goes everywhere. So it's not I haven't found it to be a big issue. So if it becomes an issue, maybe I would reach out to the company, but all I can say is I've had no trouble with that wheel. It really is a very, very, very pleasant wheel to spin on. It's actually kind of got me out of my spinning rut. So that's it for my spinning. FOs. I have two, and I blocked them. One is, I don't remember the name. This sweater, you could tell I'm really getting tired. This sweater sat so long, I actually had to stop recording and go look up the name because I couldn't remember what it was. It was finished, but it was sitting in the blocking pile. This is my Arisu, and you'd think I'd know because half of that's my daughter's name. But it is finished. And I blocked it, and I think it blocked out beautifully. I really was very pleased with that. It's a pattern by, again, it's Arisu. It's a pattern by Svetlana Volkova. I didn't put it in my Ravelry. Let me stand up, and I don't want to throw it on, but give you an idea. Now, again, this is one of those sweaters that's meant to be worn with like 10 inches of positive ease or whatever. Let's see if I can make this look. Everything's backwards in this model. I'm not used to that. Okay. So it comes down, again, it's a crop sweater, but on me, because I'm not a normal sized person, I'm vertically challenged. It comes down, it's hip length. Okay, let's put it that way without my standing on the chair or falling. But in the pattern, what I saw was a lot of people had it coming lower on the shoulders. This one, I don't know, maybe because I knit, a smaller size, doesn't. In other words, I can wear this by itself. So I was really, really pleased with how this came out. It blocked up really, really nicely. And so that one is finished. And the other one that I did finish, which is why I was able to cast on my Tegna, was my Tilly sweater. And this one is all finished. So let me hold it up and show you. This one, I don't even remember. I should have written down the yarns that I knit them with, and I didn't, and I probably don't even have it on my project page. This was the sweater, not the one, the Sipila. This was the sweater I was having the trouble with the underarm. But I think it's as good as it's gonna get. Let's put it that way. It's reasonably fixed. Let me see if I can get my hand under there and then focus on it. Okay, so I mean, there's like tiny holes. I'm not gonna go crazy about it. And you do this really cute bind off, I-cord bind off around the armhole, which I think is really sweet. And otherwise, it was pretty simple. It was pretty straightforward. Again, it was just this one had the lace at the top, whereas the Tegna has the lace at the bottom. This had some short rows in the back, which raised the neck. I love that in a sweater because, again, like I said, I did knit a sweater that I would love to wear more. But there's no short row shaping in the back, and it just, while it's not uncomfortable to wear, it feels like something's funny. It almost feels like you're wearing a shirt backwards. You know when you've done that and you come on, we've all done it. We've all put our shirt on backwards. And you know, like you're tugging at something. That's what it feels like, only you didn't, because there really isn't any front or back on that one. So that's the story with this one. I fixed the underarm as much as I can, and to be honest, when I looked at the Sipila and I saw there's no armholes, I don't remember ever having holes underneath that I couldn't fix or that really were that obvious. And I think, and I'm not going to totally blame it, but I think a lot of it is the yarn, because if you can see the yarn, this is knit to a really open gauge. And that's you can tell from the pattern, that's on purpose. It's knit to be open. And I believe this was a linen, cotton, something like that. So I think that may have been part of the problem, is that there wasn't really much give in the yarn to sort of bloom and close that hole up on its own. I could be making this up. I don't know, but I do think that the yarn itself, I'm not going to blame the yarn totally for the holes, but I think part of the problem that the holes being so really as big as they were and as obvious as they were and as difficult as they were to really close out, I think that was partially due to the yarn. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? Okay. All right. I just want to remind you again about our contest going on the forum. It is a whip along. You have until the end of August to post a picture of any project that you're working on, any work in progress. You can cast something on and post it as a whip. I won't tell anybody. And be entered in the whip contest if you get it done by the end of September. Then you can enter into that drawing too. So again, no, we're pretty loose here at KnitScents. Well, at least contest rules wise. Let's keep this. I'm getting punchy. I am really getting punchy. I'm not sure if it was the car shopping. I don't even know if I mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast, because I did this, like I said, I recorded this one like 4 times. I don't even know what I said anymore. But I ended up recording this a day or 2 late because I had to go replace a car, and I would just rather have had a root canal. So between that and the storm that just barreled through with a bunch of crazy animals in the house, and it being now pushing, 9 o'clock, I'm getting tired. I'm getting really punchy. Anyway, we're very loose when it comes to the rules. So go over to the KnitScents podcast. There is an August-September whip along thread that's open now. That is where you post any project that you are working on, any in progress project. I think I said that right. And if you're a member of the group, I will be drawing for the Shepherdess Salve, which I picked up at the Long Island Yarn and Farm. This is really, especially with the winter and the harsher weather coming in, this is really, really, really fabulous stuff. I got it in the honey almond scent. That was kind of the most neutral. So I think that is about it. That's about all I have moving on into scents. So if the scents part of KnitScents doesn't interest you, or that's just not your jam, I totally get that. So I wish you a good week, and I will see you again soon. But this week, I picked a fragrance that I'm actually new to. It's new to me. I'm not new to the brand. I have purchased two other fragrances. I think only one. I think I've tried two and purchased only one. And that being the brand it's a celebrity fragrance. And I don't want to say, you know, a lot of people say, oh, celebrity fragrances, they're all too sweet, or they're all, you know, they don't smell good, whatever. That's not really true. And if you're my age, maybe you remember way back, let's go into the way back machine in the 70s. Cher came out with a fragrance, and I loved that fragrance. And for years, I mean, back in the 70s, we didn't have eBay and all of this stuff to go finding discontinued fragrances. And I was so sad when they discontinued that fragrance. And I think at some point when I did get onto a computer, when eBay was just kind of getting going, I think at some point I was able to get a bottle of it. And oh, I was just like so thrilled. I'm going back now at this point to the 90s, I think, is when I was able to get that. So they don't make it anymore, and it's not available anymore. But I can tell you that Cher is going to be coming out soon. I don't know when, but she is going to be coming out soon with a new fragrance, and this would be the first one since the 1970s when she came out with, I don't even remember what the name of it was. All I remember is when I sprayed it, it was just what I would imagine Cher would smell like. You know, the fragrance that Cher would wear. I loved it. Anyway, so I'm not really, you know, a snob and against celebrity fragrances. I know some people feel that they're never good. That's not true. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them aren't my jam. I don't want to say pretty bad. I take that back. Some of them are not for me. I find that a lot of them are geared toward a younger group and obviously toward their fan base. But again, I would never write off a celebrity fragrance until I tried it for myself. Now, I went into that whole spiel. Let me tell you that the fragrance for this week that I'm going to talk about is called Cloud. And I'm going to see if I can get this to focus on there. And it is a fragrance by Ariana Grande. And this is not her first fragrance. I believe she has a fragrance called Ari, which I can't believe I don't have, because that's actually my daughter's name, Ariana, and we call her Ari. Can't believe I don't have that one. She has another one called Sweet Like Candy, which I do have. But this one, I actually had tried it in the store, and I must have, you know, you go in, you smell so many, by the time you get to the fourth or fifth one, I don't care how many coffee beans you smell in between, you're like, enough is enough. I'll deal with this another day. Now, first of all, let me just show you. I thought, well, this is going to be ridiculous to spray. I mean, how do you hold it with this plastic thing? Never thinking that, hello, it comes out. So this cloud, this plastic cloud thing is actually really just a holder. So I think it's, you know, for a young girl, I think it's cute. For me, I could take it or leave it as long as the bottle stands up by itself. But this is the bottle. The lid is also a cloud. How cute, right? Who cares? It just matters what it smells like. So part of the reason why I felt I had to revisit this, and I'm going to pull it up on Fragrantica, and I did mention Fragrantica before, or at least I think I did. I did it one of the times I was recording this. I don't remember if it was in this one or in 3 attempts before, but at any rate, Fragrantica is a website, and I will link it below, that is really fabulous for fragrance lovers, and it's very helpful when you're looking for a fragrance or you're looking to find out why you like the fragrances that you already have, and that will help you to tell if you are going to like other fragrances. It gives you all of the notes. It gives you the main accords of every fragrance. It tells you when it came out. And then there's a long list of, depending on how long the fragrance has been out for, of reviews. So you can get an idea. And there's even a, I'm gonna just turn this around. This happens to be Ariana Grande's Pulled Up Cloud. You can see where there's a section here. I know my lights are reflecting in this here. Right here. You can see this, where it's red, this is the number of people that love it, that like it, that dislike it, and then it tells you people rate it, whether it's a spring, they feel it's a spring, a summer, a fall, or a winter scent. So you can kind of get an idea looking at this, looking at the reviews, looking at the notes, if it's something that you might enjoy before you go in and you go spraying yourself. If you know that you hate musk and you look up, you know, a fragrance and, you know, one of the first ingredients, or it's heavy, people are saying it's very heavy on the musk, clearly you're not going to like it. Part of the reason I was very interested in trying this again, because like I said, I did spray it once before and I remember liking it, but again, I had been so overwhelmed by fumes that I couldn't really tell, is that this fragrance, and so many people have compared this fragrance to Mason Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this. I know I'm not. That is a very high-end fragrance. It's from the house Mason Francis Kurkdjian, and I did try it in my local Saks. I will probably never be doing a review of that fragrance because that is one mighty expensive perfume. Did it smell good? Yes. But at the price per bottle that sucker is, no. I would choke every time I sprayed it on myself. But I liked it. I mean, you know, was I gonna buy it? No. But I really did like it. So the fact that so many people were saying that this fragrance was similar to it caught my attention, because clearly this is in a much different price range. Do I expect it to smell exactly the same? No. Do I think it has the same ingredients? No. But if I love that one and this one smells similar, I thought I might like it. And as it turns out, I really did. And I looked on Fragrantica before I went to even try it, to find out what the accords were, what the notes were in it, and it was all things that I like. So that's what pushed me to it. So let's talk about it. It is a sweet, milky, coconut, vanilla, and nutty. Okay, so it has all of those accords. Sweet, milky, coconut, vanilla, and nutty. Now I can say her other fragrance, Sweet Like Candy, is sweet like candy. If you are a fan of very sweet fragrances, then that's the one to go to. This one is a sweet fragrance, but nothing compared to, I don't know if you're familiar with like Pink Sugar, which to me smells like cotton candy. It's a great fragrance for a teenager. I used to wear it back in the day, so I can't, you know, it's not that it's a bad fragrance, it's just, you know, I think at different ages, even at different stages, it's not like I would say it's only for young people because it's sweet and this and that. I have a lot of Juicy Couture fragrances that are very sweet, very caramelly, and I like them, I enjoy them. It just depends on when and where you're wearing them. But the reason I say that is this one is not as sweet. It is a sweeter fragrance, but I would not say this is nauseatingly sweet. So that's number one. Milky, yes, I get a milky coconut, vanilla vibe. I think, to me, I get mostly, and I don't know what I just did with the whole thing, the nutty accord, the nutty scents out of this. So let me tell you what the actual notes are. The top notes, so when you first spray it, you're going to get bergamot, pear, and lavender. And I would say out of the three of those, the bergamot, to me, was the most notable. I did smell a little bit of the lavender, not so much the pear. So that's kind of the first whiff of it. When it dries down a little bit, the middle notes were coconut, whipped cream, praline, and vanilla orchid. Now, I do get the vanilla orchid. I didn't get so much of the whipped cream. I did get some of the coconut. It's a very unique fragrance. For a celebrity fragrance, I would have to say this is a unique one. The base notes, I think, are wood, woody notes, and musk. And I found this to be more woody than musky. So I would have to say it opens up more of a fruity with the bergamot. I think that overwhelms the pear. Maybe the pear was actually in there. There is a little bit of lavender. The middle notes, I got a lot more of the orchid, like a milky, creamy, with a little hint of coconut in there. And then the dry down to me was a woody, more of a woody, maybe a little bit of musk, but more of a woody. I found the longevity on this for a celebrity. I think this is an eau de parfum, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, it is an eau de parfum. I wonder if it says it on the plate. No, it doesn't. So I would say the longevity on this one, I'm gonna say it was average. It wasn't great. It was maybe 5 hours. I think by the end of the day, I really didn't smell it at all where I had sprayed it. I think it has a nice sillage in the beginning of it when you first spray it. After about an hour or so, I would say it becomes more of a skin scent. But if you like something different, it's something that's got a sort of fruity, not too sweet, not too woody, not too fruity fragrance, then I would suggest giving this a try. I'm sure you could, actually, I don't know if they sell this in Sephora. I do know they sell it at Ulta. So again, this was Cloud, was the name of the fragrance by Ariana Grande. And again, my kids had explained to me who she was. I had no idea. I had no clue. So that's our fragrance for the week. And that is all I have. I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. I hope you have a great weekend coming up. But until I do see you again, remember to knit with sense.